We all saw the news. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think it's the first time that there's been any outright confirmation that, yes, the Milwaukee Bucks are looking at trade offers for Giannis Antetokounmpo. We had this report that came from Shams Charania of ESPN that Giannis is ready for a new home at the February 5th trade deadline, or importantly, in the offseason, as several rival teams make aggressive offers to the Milwaukee Bucks for him. The franchise, keyword here now, is starting to listen. They're starting to listen. And it's a complicated situation, which we will touch on, but let's focus on the Raptors side of this. Is this a trade the Raptors can make? And is this a trade the Raptors should make for their team before that February 5th trade deadline? So before I talk about the Raptors side of this, I find this real cat and mouse game that the Bucks and Giannis are playing to be pretty funny here. Giannis loves the fan base, Milwaukee. You know, he won a championship there. And the only reason he wants to leave here is because they threw everything, pushed in all their chips on Damian Lillard, essentially, on a team that was on the way out. Maybe that kind of gave them a little bit more of a possibility of winning the chip, and then there was a Damian Lillard injury. There was nothing really the Bucks could do. They've done a pretty bad job of managing assets around Giannis as of late. So now he wants to go and be a contender somewhere else and go and try and win a championship, because it appears as though that is not going to happen in Milwaukee anytime soon. And for the Bucks, they know that this team isn't going to win a championship, so they need to cash in on Giannis in order to start building the next championship team in Milwaukee. So it's funny that both sides probably agree it is best for a trade to happen. But like I said, because Giannis loves the city so much, the fans so much, and doesn't want to be the one that requests a trade to look bad, he doesn't want to taint his legacy by asking for trade. So he's not asking for a trade. At the same time, the Bucks as an organization, they don't want to be the ones who went up and said, we're trading away one of the greatest, the greatest player in our franchise's history. So both teams, both sides, both parties probably agree a trade is necessary, but neither want to outright say it. So I love the language that's being fed to Shams here. He's ready for a new home. Giannis is ready for a new home. He's not asking for a trade. He's ready for a new home. The Bucks aren't trying to trade him, but they're starting to listen. You know, the language here is pretty funny, but ultimately what we get, a trade is desired to happen from both parties, whether that be now or in the offseason, because like I said, we're creeping up onto this NBA trade deadline here. And of the reports that we have, look, we don't have super credible reports or anything, but the Raptors are apparently one of the teams in the mix, and Giannis apparently prefers the Raptors as one of his options alongside the Knicks, the Heat, alongside the Knicks and the Heat. I understand the desire to stay in the Eastern Conference, especially something you're familiar with, but let's be honest, it is an easier conference to go through in the playoffs and get individual accolades, etc. So we didn't need that report. We knew the Raptors could be in the mix because they have the assets to do it. They have the star power to do it. They have the young players to do it. They have the tradable contracts to do it. And maybe most importantly, the Raptors have the picks in order to make this deal possible. So let's explore what that trade would have to look like to actually materialize. Because, this is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's getting older, but he is still very much, I don't know how strict you want to be with prime, but he's in his prime as far as talent is concerned. He's still playing extraordinary basketball when he's out there on the court. This is a player if you have the opportunity to get, yes, you're going to be interested in this player. We're not we might just wait and see what we have here. No, Giannis on the table, that doesn't happen ever, a player this good. Let's see what we can do to make this happen. Then we'll adjust. Okay, that's too much for us to give away. But for the contract purposes here, Giannis' situation is this. 1.5 years left on his contract before he has a player option for the 27-28 season. He'll be 33 years old. I would wager at this point he's not going to take that. He'll look for a longer-term deal there to lock him in at very large figures into his late 30s. So you have 1.5 years of security. I would I would certainly estimate here, educated guess here, if you're going to trade for Giannis, you're probably going to discuss an extension up front and figure out if that's going to be something that happens before trading for him. So I'm not too worried about the term of the contract there. I feel pretty good about that. So that's not a point of worry for me. I don't really think it should be a point of worry for yourself. So let's try and do a trade here. So the issue I have with a trade kind of materializing for Giannis is that I think the conversation starts and ends with Scottie Barnes. Like, the Bucks will start the conversation on Scottie Barnes, and they will feel like, well, we're not going to do this trade unless Scottie Barnes is involved. And I think the Raps at this point will be like, well, we're not doing this trade if Scottie Barnes is involved. And you know what? I know it's Giannis here, but I think that's pretty fair. Like, you have invested a lot of time and resources into developing Scottie Barnes, and you are getting the output that you were looking for. Scottie Barnes is operating at an all-star level this season, an all-defense level, definitely like even a defensive player of the year level. And honestly, by the end of the season, you could make a very, very solid case this is an all-NBA season. I'm not sure you can list out 15 players performing better than Scottie Barnes this season. And he's still young and can still get better. Like, this Raptors team has no business being one of the best defensive teams in the NBA based on the players you have around him. Yet it is because you have this guy. So I can't trade. I'm sorry. I know it's Giannis. I cannot trade Scottie Barnes here. I cannot do it. I would not do it. The conversation ends at Scottie Barnes for me, for the Raptors. Like, especially if you're trading for Giannis. Like, you're not trading for Giannis to play him next to the other guy. You're getting Giannis to play next to your best player. Your best player is Scottie Barnes. So unfortunately, that's where the conversation ends. If that can be communicated, that Scottie is not going to be involved, let's see if we can still construct a good enough trade to satisfy the needs of the Bucks. So we're going to do two different versions of this possible trade here. The first version is going to be the version that doesn't include Brandon Ingram. Because I kind of want to put all three. I want to maximize the talent here and put all three together. I don't know how desirable it is for the Bucks to take on Brandon Ingram right now anyways. But we're going to do a non-Brandon Ingram version. Then we're going to do a Brandon Ingram version to see what it kind of looks like on both sides. So, obviously, Giannis goes to the Raptors. We're going to make a large attempt to include Thanasis in this trade because I feel like, that's part of the deal a little bit. But how are we going to stack up the finances here? First of all, RJ's your guy that gets you up there financially. RJ's a guy that gets you into the mix there financially. We're not really here getting any favors. So I think Quickly has a little bit more value for a contract than Pirtle right now just because his back is so messed up. So I want to construct around Quickly and Barrett. I honestly think that's enough already. It is enough already. Financially speaking. So let's just toss in Thanasis. Does that still work? It still works. Okay. So let's get both Antetokounmpo brothers here. Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. Say Phoenix saying keep IQ. You have to trade somebody here. You can't just trade nobody. Okay? I'm with you, but you can't trade nobody. The reason I'm going to go with Emmanuel Quickly ahead of Jakob Poeltl is I would obviously rather put in Jakob Poeltl, but I find it to be more unlikely that the Bucks entertain a trade with Poeltl just because of the health issues and concerns right now and because Quickly probably gives you a little bit more right now. So I want to construct a trade basically I'll give away these contracts. And then it's the picks. It is every pick. If you're doing this, it's every single pick. It is every single pick you're capable of trading. It is the litany of first round picks here. 4 first round picks involved. It has to be this way. Second round picks 2, and I think swaps are involved as well. Like you're pretty much giving everything to make this trade happen. They're not getting the blue chip piece back they want. It is all the picks in order to make this one happen. I would do it. I would do it. You're not giving away a cornerstone piece of your roster. It's all the picks. but you're getting Giannis. Fortunately, that is one I have to do. Would the Bucks take this? I don't know. I mean, they're looking for a star player back, or they're looking for a blue chip young piece. They're not really getting either. I don't really see them being interested here in these two players. It's just like they're getting all the picks. I think they won't take it, and I think another team would give them more. So let's go back to the drawing board here and include the player that would have to be in the deal. I already hear you saying no. But do you want Giannis? Colin Murray-Boyles is going to have to be included. I'm sorry, but like at some point there needs to be some value going in the other direction. So we'll construct it now as if Colin Murray-Boyles is the piece of this deal. We'll add in Jakob Poeltl for this one as well. Take away Emmanuel quickly. We'll send this their way. We have a success once again. I mean, they're describing Colin Murray-Boyles as a movement shooter. I don't know if that's correct, but this one would be tough. I mean, I know we get attached to our young guys. We love our young guys. We love the developing pieces here, but this is you're a championship contender with this trade. So I unfortunately am not stuck on Colin Murray-Boyles. That is not a sticking point for me. If they're willing to take Colin Murray-Boyles as the main part of their return, I would be willing to go back the other way. RJ Barrett at least can give you some minutes. You're not a completely dumpster fire team. That contract's only got 1.5 years remaining, unlike the 3.5 on Emmanuel Quickly's contract. If I'm the Raptors, I'm trading for Giannis. I've got plenty of wings now. I've got Ingram. I've got Barnes. I've got Giannis. I, unfortunately, can do without RJ Barrett. I need a point guard who has the potential and ability to space the floor. Quickly's a pretty good fit for that group in terms of his ability to let fly from outside. So that is the direction that I would be going in. This is a trade. I actually think this is one that could get it done. I actually think. I know they're taking on the Poeltl contract, but we have to match salaries somewhere. I actually think this has a good chance to get it done. What if they want Jacoby as well? Also not going to stop me here, to be honest. Not going to stop me. Still success. That wouldn't stop me. I'd still do it. I'd feel sick about it, but I'd do it, and I'd get a Giannis jersey. Not going to be. I'm thinking of a Quickly, Ingram, Barnes, Giannis, and I guess Mamukilashvili starting 5. Try to pick up maybe a big elsewhere to supplement your depth there. This is something that I'm comfortable with. This I'm comfortable. I'm sick. I don't want to trade Murray-Boyles, but this is Giannis we're talking about. I'm willing to do it there. Now let's flip over and discuss what it would have to be with Ingram. I don't actually really think there is a huge desire on the Bucks to get Ingram. If we're doing Ingram, then okay, we can basically swap Ingram out of the starting 5 and put Giannis in. We can keep in that case RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. I'd rather keep Ingram. He's a superior player there. I still think in order to get this done, it has to be Colin Murray-Boyles that goes into the trade. Now we're giving away 2 pretty significant pieces here. We got to cut some money. We still got a salary match here a little bit. So let's do Abaji and Walter, and they give us, like I said, Thanasis probably does need to come in this trade. That is a lot coming out the door. And just imagine this with all the picks as well. That is a lot that's coming out of the door here. I don't really want to do this one. I value Ingram quite a lot, and I'd rather have him in with Giannis and Barnes. I don't really see a strong desire for the Bucks to want Brandon Ingram. So this is probably what it has to look like. I I think basically if you're not going to put in Scottie Barnes, you have to put in CMB. I know we like CMB. I think at times we can get quite attached to young players, which is, it's not necessarily a bad trait, but like it is kind of for these sort of discussions. Sometimes you need to see the bigger picture and think that this is Giannis Antetokounmpo that we're talking about. This is one of the best, one of the top 5 players in the NBA. You are a championship contender. If you make this trade, you have to make sacrifices in order to get to that status. That sacrifice being a rookie who I think has a very, very high ceiling, but there's still a long way to go to make that happen. A lot of work that has to go in to get him to that point. Giannis is already here. So without Scottie, this is probably a very difficult trade to materialize. But like I said earlier, this conversation ends at Scottie Barnes for me. He is not going to be in this deal. If Scottie Barnes is not going to be in this deal, I'm sorry, guys. If you want Giannis, Colin Murray-Boyles probably does have to be. Again, not happy doing it, but I would do it. I would trade Colin Murray-Boyles. And I'd feel sick. What do you guys think? How deep would you be willing to go to get Giannis Antetokounmpo on this team?